The truth is very simple in Canada. Canada's major institutions are so far left that they do not even try to hide it anymore. And if you want proof, let's take a look at exactly what just happened after the world-changing Charlie Kirk assassination. But before I show you why this matters, let me make this very clear. This isn't just about Charlie Kirk. This is about a culture in Canada where the establishment media, government, and even universities are all openly celebrating the death of a conservative. And after this, I want to show you exactly what it looks like on the ground in Canada and why there are way more leftists than you might think. As always, in all my videos, I show you exactly what everybody's saying and give you the news that actually matters. Now, right after the shooting, the CBC for once in their life was actually surprisingly professional, especially with how they handled framing the whole Charlie Kirk assassination. But I really want you to pay attention to this clip because what you're about to witness is a standard, typical media tool where they can change a narrative, which is called frame switching. Let's take a look.
Following breaking news from the United States, prominent conservative commentator Charlie Kirk has been shot at an event in Utah. His organization, Turning Point USA, confirmed the news.
So you saw it. Very professional, right? Now for the frame switch. And pay attention to what they say and how they frame Charlie Kirk in this next clip, which aired 12 hours after.
Still ahead, the latest on the killing of far-right activist Charlie Kirk in the U.S. Investigators have released images of a person of interest. We'll have more on that just ahead here on CBC News Network.
Where originally they framed him as a normal conservative, they later backtracked and exaggerated their claims by framing him as a far-right extremist. This is exactly what the Canadian media always does, especially towards people who are more conservative. They deliberately move the goalposts so that conservatives are painted as more far-right, more extreme, and more dangerous than they actually are. And if that wasn't enough, the CBC actually published an article which was titled "Some of Charlie Kirk's Most Awful Takes," just a day after he was assassinated. The man's body is not even cold, and taxpayer-funded state media is already running hit pieces trying to justify why Charlie Kirk somehow deserved it. But in the great white north, it is not only the media which is compromised, it is also the government. So let's take a look at the political class, because all the way in the beautiful prairie province of Manitoba, a cabinet minister named Nahanni Fontaine called Kirk a racist, xenophobic, transphobic, Islamophobic individual who stood for nothing but hate. And guess what? She is not going to lose her job. There's no repercussions or anything like that. That's right, you're living in a country where the very ideology that seems to have led to Charlie Kirk's assassination is already in some of the most powerful institutions within this country. And this is not a left or right ideology. This is an ideology of in-group versus out-group, or rather, I should say, extreme in-group versus extreme out-group, which views any other group and any other individual who has a different ideology or different belief as subhuman. If a conservative in Canada ever said anything like how the Canadian media, government, and what I'm about to show you professors say to the left, that conservative would not only lose their job, they would be sent to a re-education program and would lose the right to earn money in their living, as we have seen with Jordan Peterson in Canada. But again, somehow it gets worse. A professor at the University of Toronto literally said shooting is honestly too good for so many of you fascist C-words. She wasn't just talking about Charlie Kirk, she was talking about all conservatives. That means people that may not agree with the Liberal Party of Canada, or just liberal ideology as a whole, deserve more than bullets. Now, this was not an isolated incident, unfortunately, because another professor at the University of Victoria named Melia Bose, who studies the intersections of gender, power, and art, was seen celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder. Let's see what she said here. Saying, "F around and find out, Charlie. Good riddance. The woke radical left finally sent someone with good aim." These are the people shaping the young minds in Canada. And these are the people where your thousands, tens of thousands of dollars of school tuition are going directly to. This is exactly why people say Canada has been captured by the radical left, because it has. And what Charlie Kirk was able to accomplish effectively in America is preventing this radical left takeover of university campuses, because Charlie Kirk's organization of TPUSA had over 3,500 chapters in high schools, universities, and colleges all across continental USA. And actually, another, I guess, silver lining of this whole tragedy is that over 35,000 Turning Point USA chapter requests were issued just a couple days after the assassination. Now, you might be asking, is this just elites in media, politics, and universities? Unfortunately, no, because I want to show you exactly what just happened in Toronto just over the past weekend. Because at Christie Pitts, there was a major anti-immigration protest, and the crowd was flooded with left-wing counter-protesters. They weren't just chanting pro-immigration slogans. They were literally chanting F Charlie Kirk. Let's take a look. The guy was just assassinated, and this was their response. And even at one point, a counter-protester ripped the Canadian flag from a Canada First protester, which sparked a fight and eventually a police response. Let's take another look.
No! Fuck you! Fuck you! Go fuck yourself, you fucking faggot. You fucking stupid. Whoa! 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 Arrest him! He's gone. Arrest him right now. You're under arrest.
But what everybody missed is the size difference between the Canada First protesters and the far left pro-immigration protesters. The pro-immigration side was massive compared to the Canada First crowd. This footage shows that the anti-immigration group completely surrounded, drowned out by chants, drowned out by curses, and drowned out by threats. Let's take a look. Now, one counter-argument is that most Canadian conservatives are busy with work or they're at home with their families, and that the people who are typically this far left typically have a lot more time on their hands. So they're able to show up in larger numbers. But I still want to show you that that is where Canada is at right now. That is where the country you're living at is at right now. Utterly dominated by the left in government institutions, in universities, in state media, and even on the ground. And let's never forget the passionate voice of everyday Canadians who are caught in the middle. One man who was in the Canada First rally made it very, very clear. He is not against immigrants. He is against a collapsing system that cannot handle and should not handle the strain anymore. And nobody says it best except for him. Let's take a look.
My wife went undiagnosed properly and passed away November 22nd of 23.
I am very sorry.
And why? Because immigrants get goddamn health care. Am I pissed off? Yes, I am. It's not right.
You are right to be angry, but you are
right.
not angry.
I'm accosted coming down the street being called a racist. I went overseas, ma'am. I left my family. It cost me.
Right to be angry.
You don't get it. I'm not saying we can't stop immigrants from coming in. We can't afford them now.
But instead of listening to him, the left smears everyone who questions the system as fascists or racists. Very Agent Smith-like. But what do you think? Does this prove that Canada has gone too far left? Is Canada still able to go at least to the center or even center right? Or is this just the beginning of a slippery slope towards some type of civil unrest, which God forbid would happen? So let me know down below, like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.